Good morning. Myself, Dr. M. Vijay Kumar. Today, I am going to discuss about the braking and control in the electric power utilization and energy management subject. So, the braking is a sudden stopping of the motor is called the braking. So, nowadays, in a heavy load we are going to operate in the industry. So, the immediate stop is necessary to avoid some short of problem. So for that purpose we are using in a electric braking. So electric braking we have restore the heavy and faster trains also applied. Braking is the dissipation of large amount of kinetic energy short possible time in a case of emergency braking. The requirement of braking is a very simple and easy to drive, control and operate, and also the less maintenance required and reliable. The supply should be off. During that, apply a brake simultaneously over a vehicle. To avoid the damage of the system and the discomfortness to the passenger, the application of the brake should be a gradual and smooth. In case of emergency, the braking force applied in each axis should be proportional to the axial load to avoid a jerk. And the braking system is a inexhaustible and repeated quick applications to break the possible without needing any relaxation or reoccupation. So the types of braking. So generally having the broad classification of the three types, one is a mechanical, electrical and hydraulic braking. In mechanical braking, the force is uh, applied and to produced by the rubbing action or brake block the wheel. Depends upon the method how the braking is applied as a force and to control it further into the pneumatic braking. And also the further classification is pneumatic braking, vacuum braking and electro pneumatic braking and disc braking. So the electric braking is similar to the classified into plugging, rheostatic braking, regenerative braking, electromagnetic braking and eddy current braking. So the electric braking is more efficient than the other braking, especially when using the train is moving above certain speed. It is helpful to reduce the speed and cannot keep it stationary on a down gradient. So in such cases, the electric braking has to be supplemented with a mechanical braking. And the brake blocks are pressed with force against the type of wheel. So the electric braking having the three types. One is the plugging or reversal current braking, rheostatic braking or dynamic braking. The third type is a regenerative braking. So the plugging is the simplest type of electric braking. It involves the reverse the connection of the armature of the motor so that it tends to run in a reverse direction. So it is a special permission has provided cut the supply when the speed reaches zero. Otherwise it accelerates into opposite direction. This method can applied in a DC induction or synchronous motor. It is a simple flagging arrangement uh, of the motor is shown below. So the reverse the direction of the supply. So automatically it tends to reaches into the zero speed. So next is the rheostatic or dynamic braking. In this method, the motor is disconnected from the supply and used as a generator, driven by the momentum of the equipment to be braked. The supply current to be to the resistance. DC and synchronous motor can be braked in this way, but the induction motor separate DC source are required to use this method. The diagram shows the the separate supply is supplied to the motor. It acts as a generator. Regenerative braking, the regenerative braking of the motor instant being disconnected from the supply remains connected and return back energy to the line, so that is called the regenerative braking. Suppose the load causes the speed to be increased above the normal, so the field current remains the same. The EMF of the machine would be increased and exceed the line voltage. The current to be reversed and power will be supplied back to the line. So it tends to prevent any further increase in the speed. In the underground traction services, a large city insulated return rail used to eliminate any electrolytic action due to the return current on the public services. In this case, the railway tunnels, the conductor rail system, the current collection from the surface to the rail. But in some system, current collection from the side are undesirable. So conductor rails are the low resistance. So these are all the braking methods when we are using in the electric traction, induction motor and any other applications. Thank you.